Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is technically still August 31st. It is the trade deadline, I guess, for the Toronto Blue Jays, the final deadline that players can play in the playoffs, and the Blue Jays made a couple splashes. Obviously, the big one was Josh Donaldson, but we're not going to talk about that just yet, just because it's a player to be named later, and as of right now, we don't know who that is. So why would I make a video about it if we don't even know who we're getting back yet? So I'm going to wait till that comes out before I start making videos, make a video about that. But another trade that occurred for the Blue Jays, Curtis Granderson, he has been circling around trade rumors all year long, and when the Jays signed him to that one-year contract, you had the feeling that he was going to be moved at the deadline, and it took quite a while. It took till August 31st at about 11:30 for it to happen, and it happens. Curtis Granderson has been traded to the Milwaukee Brewers, and in exchange, the Blue Jays got Demi Orimoloye. I think I've tried to pronounce that so many times before, and I think that's how you pronounce it. I've looked at many videos, I've looked at all different kinds of things, and I've heard a few different pronunciations, but that's what I'm going to go with. If you guys know him, first off, he's a Canadian boy. He's from Nigeria, but he moved to Canada and played high school ball in Ottawa. So he played for the Canadian junior national team. So, hey, you got a Canadian back if you want to look at it that way. He's 21 years old. He's been playing in A-ball for the Milwaukee Brewers. He hit .247 this season with a .322 on-base percentage, 12 home runs, and 22 stolen bases. You look at him and you're like, okay, what can he do for you? Well, first off, he's a center fielder, and he's 6'4". It's a big center fielder, a big outfielder for that matter. And he has some pop, obviously 12 home runs there in A-ball. He must have something in 22 stolen bases. He's got some speed to him. Now, offensively, I don't really know what he's all about. Defensively, I don't know the glove, the arm. I don't really know anything about the guy. But what we do know is that we traded Curtis Granderson, an expiring contract, a guy who's probably not going to start for the Milwaukee Brewers. If he does, well, I mean, good for him. But the Jays had to make the move. I know clubhouse-wise, he was a very good guy in the clubhouse. I loved seeing the smile. He came up with some big hits for the Jays. He did hit over 240. I think he had a hit today. You know, he went 1-for-1 with a hit today in his final Blue Jays at-bat there down in Miami. And, guys, this was going to happen. You know, we knew where this team was headed. We knew where this team is right now. This was a move that was going to have to be made at some point, and they addressed it. They got a big outfielder. Yeah, he's only 21 years old, and he's only an A-ball. He's a project. But you know what? Add it to the prospect pool, guys. Look. As much as you guys can hate on Shapiro and Atkins for the way they've built this team over the last few years, as I kind of did in the whole Twitter picture of Jose Bautista, Edwin, and Josh Donaldson picture that I posted. But I mean, if you think about it, all those situations were kind of miserable situations. Jose wanted some stupid amount of money, didn't get it, came back for 1 year, had a terrible season, and the Jays let him go. Edwin, yeah, well, we know how that situation went down. They offered him a contract. He's like, no, I can get more than that. And the Jays are like, okay, well, we're going to go out and sign Kendrys Morales. We all know how that turned out. And Edwin ended up getting less than the original offer from the Blue Jays. That was a sour taste in his mouth, sour taste in a lot of our mouths, and obviously with Josh Donaldson not being healthy at all this year, not trading him earlier at the, last in the offseason that I thought should have happened. Guys, look, you can blame Atkins and Shapiro all you want, but in this situation right now, Granderson had to be moved. And, I mean, you didn't get a 25-year-old reliever in Double-A. You got a 21-year-old outfielder, big outfielder at 6'4". He's got some pop with 12 dingers, like I said. He played 125 games this year, so he played almost every day. He stayed healthy, clearly. That's a good news. That's very good news for Jays fans, but, I mean, it's hard to tell right now. It's just a trade that we look at right now and say, well, you lost Curtis Granderson. If you want to try and find positives, well, you open up another roster spot for people coming up, I guess, in about 15 minutes, September 1st. September call-ups will be coming up. Sean Reed-Foley is expected to be one. Justin Schaefer, Jose Fernandez. Yeah, I know, right? Not obviously. But those are a few names I think that are going to be coming up to the big leagues starting in September. Just kind of see what they got. There could be more. I'm not sure exactly how much room the Jays have to work with when it comes to that stuff. But talking about this trade, you got rid of a guy that you knew you had to trade because you wanted something back for him. And again, you could sign him in the offseason if he wants to play another year. And you got a 21-year-old outfielder, in the former 4th-round pick by the Milwaukee Brewers, who was kind of slowly developed, but maybe getting into his Blue Jay colors, and obviously being jacked up, being a Canadian kid, if you want to say. It got to be exciting for him, all right? And guys, like I mentioned at the start of the video, the Josh Donaldson video will be uploaded when we figure out who the heck we're getting. That's just all there is to it. And it might be at my girlfriend's if that ends up happening tomorrow. Just give you guys the heads up. And everyone yelling at the TV and their phones and everything about Donaldson. Oh, you know, player to be named later. What the heck? Oh, these trades are all terrible for this team. Look, I heard, you know, I think it was Shai Davidi, reported it, that this player to be named later is going to have some value. Now, what that means, I'm not sure. What I'm praying to God is that this player to be named later, and it has value, is not a middle infielder. It's either an outfielder or a pitcher. A pitcher would be preferable. Will it happen? I don't know. I don't know what team would give up a promising pitcher for a couple months of Josh Donaldson. But Cleveland, I mean, they got him. So we're going to end up seeing what happens when it comes to that. But if you guys had to grade this trade, what would you guys do? I mean, there's not really much of a big trade, but it is one. And it's a Blue Jay gone. Curtis Granderson to the Milwaukee Brewers for Demi Orimoloye. That might take some time to get used to. 21-year-old outfielder in the organization of the Brewers. 4th-round pick. Hit 247 there in A-ball. 12 home runs and 22 stolen bases. Played for the Canadian junior national team. If you want to try and like him a little bit more, that's maybe an option to think about. But I just want to make this video for you guys because we have no idea what's happening with Josh Donaldson. All right, so you know what, guys? That is going to do it for this one. If you guys enjoyed this video and you guys like the Jays getting a young Canadian kid, smack that like button. I do appreciate that. Hit the subscribe button. And also hit that like button if you guys enjoy the time with Curtis Granderson. I sure have. It's been a lot of fun. The smile he's brought to this team, the great plays, the memorable home run. He hit quite a few big home runs for this team. Hit that like button if you guys enjoyed his time. Hit the subscribe button if you guys have not already. Comment down below. What are your guys' thoughts about this trade? I know Granderson was I wouldn't say a fan favorite, but a lot of people liked him. But you got a young outfielder, Canadian outfielder, back in return. All right, so I want to hear what you guys have to say about this trade. If you had to grade it, like an A, B, C, D, that kind of thing, what would you guys give this trade? I want to hear what you guys have to say, and I will talk to you guys whenever we hear about Josh Donaldson, that edition. We'll talk to you guys Wednesday podcast edition. Link is in the description for the podcast channel and for the podcast itself on iTunes, guys. Twitter is down below as well. Follow up, send me a DM, do all that great stuff, and I will talk to you guys for sure tomorrow night as the Blue Jays take on the Miami Marlins in Game 2 of the 3-game set. Marco Estrada, Wei-Yen Chen down at Marlins Park in Miami, 7:10 first pitch. We'll talk to you guys then.